Let's bring in another great Doug. Doug Flynn, certified financial planner and co-founder at Flynn Zito Capital Management. You should have come down. You're out in Long Island, sitting in a studio. You should have come down to hang out at the courthouse.
You have a nice setup
nothing
over
but
there.
fun times here. Beautiful day, absolutely. You got people waving flags and, you know, whatever it is. All right, consumer confidence. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to that it ticked up because the labor market has been resilient. And so people have had an easier time finding jobs than would have been predicted. And so that's really what's causing it. Now, the high prices are really what's keeping the consumer confidence from really getting back to where you want to see it. But an improvement is there, and I think that's partly why there's some concerns with some big wigs on Wall Street that if that labor market does wane a bit, you're going to have some issues down the road. But right now, that's what's keeping it up.
Big wigs on Wall Street. It's almost like we can't go a week without doing a segment or part of a segment with you and mentioning Jamie Dimon. The headline now from the JP Morgan CEO, he doesn't rule out recession down the road as inflation saps consumer confidence. I don't think I've ever used the word saps in an actual sentence spoken out loud, but I just did there, I guess, reading a Market Watch headline. You're the latest from Jamie Dimon. What do you say?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think he's just saying that, you know, he's saying a couple of things. One is don't put too much emphasis on any one single number like one CPI print. It's more about the long-term trend. But he's really worried about the unemployment data and that rising. And that can actually cause the recession that might happen down the road. That's what he's putting in the backdrop there. And of course, he's worried about other things, too, that might happen if inflation stays high and then you do get a tick up in unemployment. But unemployment has remained relatively low. And so the backdrop is still OK. But he's just saying, you know, be careful out there. Don't expect it to always be like this.
Yeah, that recession that is on its way, less than 30 seconds to the closing bell. Give us a quick answer. Will it ever actually get here? Are you worried as well?
I'm not overly worried about it in a real overall recession, but you do see these pockets where you can have sort of secular recessions or, you know, like, for instance, the confidence numbers right now on people that make over $100,000 a year are the highest. Well, of course, that makes sense because they can handle inflation. They probably have some savings. It's about the people that are below 100,000. So you do get worried about those, and that can actually lead into a recession. But I think it's more of a sector or an individual situation rather than a real worldwide recession. At least that's the way it looks right now.
Okay. Doug, thank you. 4 o'clock in New York.